Coming to you live from Geek Elite Studios in DeSoto, Texas, King David Reeves and the MentorConnector podcast present another Mentor Moment. Great day, great mentors. Rise and grind. It's time to shine. Welcome to another episode of the MentorConnector podcast, of course, here on the Geek Elite's Esports Masterclass. I'm your host, King David Reeves, and I have yet another very special guest today with us. And this man, listen, this brother here, if you need to learn about real estate, along with being a good dad, because I actually know him because of his son, this brother here is the one to learn from. So we got somebody here, we're going to pick his brain because he's such a powerful influence and a role model to so many people, unbeknownst to himself and those he does know. But he's a real estate developer. He's also a proud dad, grandpa, and a lot of other things I'll let him mention. Mentor, coach, to name a few. He has his own Hope Housing Foundation and just so many other positive things, not to mention being a social media influencer. Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about that, too, because my brother has over 200,000 followers on the gram. Y'all go check him out. But without further ado, y'all, please help me welcome Mr. Alvin Hope Johnson to the show today, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Alvin Johnson.
Appreciate you, King David.
How you doing, my brother? Welcome.
Man, doing wonderful. Glad to be here. Appreciate the invite today.
Oh, man.
All the accolades, man. You make me sound like I was wondering who was in the room.
Oh, you looking around like?
I was looking around.
Man, sure sound. We interviewing the same person.
That's right.
No, man, that's all you. Hats off to you. I see you doing great things out here, and you doing such great things that I feel like a lot of people don't even believe that you actually live in Dallas. They think celebrities don't reside around here, man, or big movers and shakers and money makers don't live within the city limits. But you definitely prove that different. You prove that wrong. So thank you for being that example, brother. How you doing, man?
Well, appreciate you, David. Man, doing great. And I have to mention that I happen to live in Dallas County, but I am from Beaumont, Texas.
Got to shout out Big Money.
Got to shout out to BMT.
BMT, Big Money Beaumont.
You know?
So I heard all about it, man. And actually, that's what AJ is the first one to put me on it. So for those of y'all who don't know, his son is the reason I know him, correct?
Yeah.
So AJ was one of my mentors. And, man, when you talk about one of the most humblest brothers you'll meet, and I completely understand after meeting his pops, Alvin Hope Johnson, why he is how he is and exactly who he got it from, man. But AJ was actually, and I'm going to drop this nugget on y'all, this little secret. He was actually the first, he was the person who confirmed for me that I want to be a member of the greatest fraternity in the world, Omega Psi Phi. I actually had a class with him at Texas A&M, and it was Africana Studies class. So we in here learning our African history and roots together. And his example, cool brother. He was 2 grades older than me, so I kind of looked up to him for different reasons. But he was proudly wearing not only his colors, but the Greek letters that I really didn't understand, even though I kind of grew up around it. I didn't realize what it was till a little bit later on in life. But he would probably wear it, and just the type of person he was really made me think, okay, yeah, I'm kind of like him. I can see myself doing that, because some of the other fraternities, I didn't see anybody that I looked up to like AJ, Alvin Johnson Jr. Yeah. So I want to give a salute to him, especially because he's the reason I am where I am today when it comes to Omega, and he still set a humble, profoundly humble example and a great example of being a dad now. He's successful in his career as well. So I'm proud of him, man, and just thankful for his example. And it was some other brothers as well, like T, that I went to high school with, and a few others that really helped me make that decision to join the greatest fraternity in the world. But it definitely AJ was one to put the exclamation point on the end of that and the icing on the cake, man. So thank you for making such a great young brother, man. I just wanted you to know that why I got you here for a second.
Well, I appreciate you. I'll tell you, it takes a village to raise a king. And
absolutely.
And that's part of why we're here today, right? That's why you do what you do as one of the greatest mentors on the planet right now, and bringing up and sprinkling these young individuals so much knowledge and giving them such a great example of being a great dad and a husband like you are. So,
man, appreciate that,
hey,
brother. Receive that. Just following the lead, man. Following the lead. And same to your son, man. Right. That's what it's all about. We uplift each other, man. We be kings together. And
That's right.
We out here conquering giants together, man, the whole village. So, man, give us a little bit about your background, if you don't mind, Brother Alvin.
Well, let's see. You want me to start with, well, I'm 55 years old, so that'll tell you I'm probably the age of a lot of you guys' parents or even grandparents, right? And
you're a young bull, man.
I don't look like it or act like it, but
not at all.
But that's the reality. And
especially not on social media the way you are, man. I got to keep up with you, man. And people tell me I'm on social media too much.
I know, right? Well, they tell me if I want to be relevant, then in today's society we have to learn how to pivot, and that's that's part of the career path of trying to be relevant, trying to make an impact, and
stay
for
relevant.
me, it's all about the impact. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So you do a great job branding yourself, but definitely, who are you? Where'd you come from? Let the people know.
So who am I? You introduced me as a dad, and well, I'm a husband, I'm a dad, grandfather.
Absolutely.
I'm a Christ follower. I am a real estate developer, and I'm just a regular guy, David. So, a lot of people see the glory today and wonder, well, how did this happen?
Yeah.
And I know some of the people I went to school with probably went, how did that happen?
People who really know you.
Right.
Man, how in the world?
That's right. And I'll tell you, it came initially, my fuel initially came from an insatiable desire to want to eat.
When you were 8?
No, I needed to learn how to feed myself. Eat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
One of the questions that I saw today was, why didn't I go to college?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, I was a very incorrigible juvenile. That means I didn't listen to anybody. I barely did well in school, and not because I couldn't. I think I didn't understand how I was a different type of learner. So in school,
right.
I learned differently than most. So because I wasn't being challenged or taught, then I was a class clown. I was a guy that just barely went to school, and just only because I had to.
Yeah.
And so I graduated like 348 out of 350, and nobody ever talked to me about college. My parents were educators, teachers, principals in my family, and nobody talked to me about college. So
wow, seriously?
Really? No, really.
How does that happen though? Because I would think it'd be the opposite problem. They talked your head off about college, talked you too much. How did that happen?
Well, teachers are people too, right?
Oh, absolutely. We're all imperfect.
So when they go home and they've been dealing with 500 kids all day, the last thing they want to do is hear a kid screaming from the top of his lungs and being like I was. So they told me to shut up and go do something. You're talking too loud. You're doing too much.
Yeah.
And they had household issues. So, my dad left home when I was 11 years old. So I can imagine the last 3 years of their marriage, when I was really developing from 8 to 11, they were probably fighting each other. Well, I know they were.
Yeah.
So they didn't have time to look at me. And a lot of kids go through that and wonder, well, my parents didn't love me, my dad left me, and I used to think that too. My dad left me. He didn't leave my mom, he left me.
Right. And that worthlessness complex and that self-worth and how do I value myself, or is it my fault? You start blaming yourself as a kid.
Absolutely.
And you wonder, what did I do wrong?
And all of those things amounted to the teenager that I was, the lack of self-confidence that I exhibited or that I had, literally had. And I think I didn't go to college because I was too afraid to leave home, literally.
Too afraid to leave home?
Too afraid to leave home.
So, like, too afraid to leave mom is kind of what I'm hearing you say.
Well,
like you felt like you had to be
too afraid to explore beyond Beaumont, Texas.
Oh, gotcha. And that happens a lot in a lot of our especially minority communities.
Of course
Definitely
it does. I mean, we've got people right now that live in our apartments in South Dallas that have never been downtown.
Yeah.
And 5 miles
crazy.
away.
Yeah, that's walking distance almost.
Right.
Like, man. But that was for what I don't agree with is I feel like society portrays this image that if you don't go to college, you won't be successful. And do you find that was a death sentence for you per se, or how did you bounce back from that?
Well, I don't think I had to bounce back from it because I didn't have that experience, or I
Right.
didn't give myself that experience, right? I think that had I had a college degree or experience, it probably would have made me lazy because I would have had something to fall back on, if I can use that term.
That's real. And a lot of people do get that.
A lot
that
of people
laziness.
use that. And because I didn't have that, I look at some of the relationships that my friends have that were established through that, and okay, I may have missed out on that, but I still have had the opportunity to develop relationships because I've been very intentional about that.
Right.
But I think not having a college education allowed me to not be one-track minded. It allowed me to find something that I really liked and that I thought I could be good at.
Absolutely.
And then spend my lifetime trying to master that.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I was
that's the
actually
key.
had that thought process while I was going through it, because again, I was just trying to eat. But I look back now over the last 25, 30 years, and I've been in the same industry, and everything I did from the day I graduated high school to today, I still use those skills. So it's just amazing how God just allows those paths to come together.
And you said you were trying to eat, and you started out saying that. What do you actually mean by you started out just trying to eat? Like, explain how much that really is. Like, is that figuratively, or are you talking literally? This was a life or death situation. I needed a meal. Like, I had to grind to make sure I was eating.
No, this is a literal thing.
Wow.
So right out of high school, I started as a painter's helper, and so I'll tell you a little bit about my story. So I started as a painter's helper at 17 years old and learned how to paint houses really well. I enjoyed that. It was like a canvas for me where I could take something that looked ugly and make it look really new, really nice. Well, by the time I was 21 years old, my son was born, and at 21, I got a contract after working for a guy, went out of business and started knocking on doors and said, "Hey, I'll paint your house for $200. Well, I knocked on the right door, and this guy hired me to do a hotel job. And I'll fast forward. A year later, I had over $1 million in the bank. I had all the guys that trained me to paint houses working for me. I was the only African-American dude in Beaumont, Texas that had a company like that in the early 80s.
Wait, how in the world did you flip that?
I knocked on the right door. Favor's not fair. If you want to eat, you'll figure it out.
But you grind, see? And that's what a lot of people miss out on, that work and that shamelessness to go knocking on the door.
Right.
And not fear the failure or the rejection or the no that you're going to get on the other side of the door, or hey, actually I got a hotel. Wow, how in the world did you? So it was the hotel contract that allowed you to basically hire the people who taught you how to paint? That's what you're saying?
Yeah. I painted that guy's house, and he knew the guy that I worked for. So when I painted his house for $200, and he said, "Man, you're good. Can you get some other guys to work with you?" And I said, "Absolutely. How many I need?" So we hired 30 guys, and I went from a knocking on door, single man gang to a multi-million-dollar company overnight. And And
powerful.
I'll tell you, had a lot of money for a couple of years, and then the real estate market took a dump, and I didn't know what to do, and I was young
And
had
you were
never
still in
had
your
money.
20s. You were in your 20s at this time?
Yes,
All of this?
I was 24.
Wow. I can only imagine having that kind of money at 24, man.
Oh my God, it was ridiculous. Well,
And so-
I had it at 21, 22, 23. By the time I turned 24, the market changed.
That's what hit.
And I didn't know where our next meal was coming from. And I literally tried to kill myself on my son's third birthday because I couldn't buy him a Hot Wheel car for his birthday present.
Wow,
And
man.
so I went
That's powerful.
from a guy that had very low confidence and low self-esteem to being a millionaire almost overnight, working my butt off.
In the early
and
20s.
then that lowliness or that lack of self-worth set in
Yeah.
again when I
Yeah,
didn't know
'cause-
how to feed my family, right?
Because I imagine at that point you put your worth and value in the material things, in the monetary value that you had.
Absolutely.
So it's like you went from kind of knowing who you were to sudden wealth in early 20s, and that power of position, but also the money that came with it, that becomes your new identity. And then as soon as that's taken away from you, it's like, man, who am I? Because everybody around me now, because you got a new circle too,
Right.
and new employees depending on you. Everybody around me knows me as this guy, this provider guy, this confident guy, because of what propelled me into this position.
Right.
Now, who am I?
Right.
And so I can only imagine the level of depression that set in during that time period. And deal with I mentor a lot of individuals of all ages, genders, and ethnicities that deal with depression and that isolation and go into that from that. How in the world did you get out of that? How did you bounce back from that?
Well, you said something that's powerful. I'll say men, because I don't know about the women, but most men put their identity or their self-worth in what they do versus who they are.
Absolutely. And
So
I'm
you
being a
notice you
victim of
asked
that
me-
as well.
You asked me, who am I? I didn't tell you where I'm a real estate developer first, where I'm a husband, I'm a dad, I'm a granddad, and then I'm a real estate developer.
Yeah.
Because I've learned, I've learned that over the years, and I think that's really important for especially the younger audience to understand today, to not put their identity into things. That identity or that value can literally only come from one place, and it's not those things.
Yep, from God himself. I'm a child of God, the Most
That's
High,
it.
King of
That's
Kings,
it.
first and foremost. And that's what a lot of people are missing too. Man, that's crazy. So is that what humbled you? Because I know, but when I met you, my first thought was, man, that's where AJ gets his sense of humility from, because that's one of his strongest characteristics, I would say, and I see that all over you. Did this, I don't know if you call it bankruptcy, but just the losing the money and position, was that what humbled you, or were there other things? Was it like a perfect storm of the wrong things coming together to humble you and turn you into the man you are today, or were you humbled before having this amount of wealth?
David, you call it humble, and I appreciate that. And maybe I am humble. I don't see myself as that. I see myself as just I'm just a regular guy. I'm not an extrovert. I'm more of an intra-extrovert. I work really hard on relationships, and I work hard to communicate openly.
Yeah, that's what Warren Buffett says too, man, by the way.
Who says that?
Warren Buffett.
Okay. So I don't see the humility. I'm just being who I am. I'm glad it comes across like that and subtle and, with a cool spirit versus, some other ways that I could be perceived.
Absolutely. And so did that process, did losing everything, was it a reality check for you? Did you have to reassess life? How did you get it? Because a lot of people get into that pit and that hole, and they think there's no point of return, and they do kill themselves, or they do just start using more heavily, alcohol, drug, other substances, or just don't come back from that? How did
Well,
you back?
You asked me how I came back from that, and it took a village.
Yeah.
So I had some people around me that loved me back to health, and I'm
Yeah,
literally
that's cute.
in part who I am today because of them. But what that did do is that gave me experience, right? So
Right.
later on in life, after I went out and became successful again in the mortgage business, and the mortgage crisis happened. The first one happened in like 2000. After 1990, I lost everything again. But that time, losing
Wow.
everything didn't affect me that way. It put a different fire in me to
Yeah.
be able to go and do this again. And next time,
'Cause you
not
already
lose
been there.
everything. Right? Or if my identity wasn't tied to those things,
Bingo.
I just needed to learn how to pivot a little bit more.
Yeah.
And life is full of those things, right? You're a track star,
Absolutely.
you break your leg, you got to figure out how to walk again. You're a school teacher and you quit teaching, you got to figure out what happens after that. So
Yeah.
it's really just being pliable and adaptable and learning a good mix. And I'll tell you one of the things that has really helped me. I get a big sense of gratitude or fulfillment when I see other people accomplishing
Succeed.
some of the things that they want to do.
Succeed. Absolute. Same here, man. And I don't think a lot of people understand the power of serving others and how fulfilling it is. It's like it's a drug in and of itself.
It is.
Because
It
there's
totally
no
is.
greater feeling. And I think that's what we're here for. And I see that all over you and in what you do as a person and as a family man, but also as a businessman. And I think that's why people follow you. That's why people look to you as a great example because of your service first orientation.
Well, I appreciate that. I know that that's where my fulfillment comes from. My real estate desire to grow an empire of 100,000 apartment units is fuel so that I can go out and give away houses. I want to put people in houses that would never have a house. I want to build houses in Africa and in India and give them away. And housing is an essential thing.
Hold on, man. Hold on. You said 100,000, like 100,000,
Yeah.
like 100,000 apartment unit.
Yes.
You said that like it rolled off the tongue, like this is just something that you. So you've been speaking this. This is very real to you. That didn't sound like it was something that you're, no pun intended, hoping for.
No.
Didn't sound like a pipe dream. You said 100,000 apartment units. Like that's about to happen. Like you got a timeline on that. Is what it sounded like.
I do have a timeline on that. And,
Man.
it's $1 trillion company. 20,000 units by 2027. Another 20,000 units by 2033. And, whether I see the fulfillment of the 100,000 units, I may
or
not
your legacy.
in my lifetime, but it'll be set in stone that whoever comes after me can pick it up and run with it.
Wow. And so is this the vision behind the Hope Housing Foundation?
This is the vision behind the Hope Housing Foundation.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. And so you said you want to have that to do what with it?
To be able to provide housing all across the globe. We want to dig water wells and provide housing and take people from homelessness to home ownership. And
Wow.
there are a lot of responsibilities that go with that. So
Oh, yeah.
I can't think that I'm going to be the person or we're going to be the organization to fulfill all of those needs in between. But
Yeah.
if we can provide the thing that allows somebody to feel comfortable so that they can, you got so many people that are homeless today because they don't have an address. They can't get an address today because they're homeless. And they're homeless because they can't get an address. They can't even get a
Wow.
check. They can't even get assistance. Now, I'm not trying to
Wow.
cure the homelessness problem because I think there's one way to help cure that. I'm not the guy to cure homelessness. But one thing I can do is go make a whole lot of money doing what we're doing so that we can put programs in place to help cure the homelessness.
That's powerful, man. And working in the school districts, man, we see that all the time with so many kids are homeless and don't even realize that they are homeless.
Right.
Especially a lot of couch surfing.
Right.
I'm with grandma this week, with my auntie and uncle next week, and they
Right.
don't have their own and definitely has an adverse effect on them and their well being or their self worth. But what made you so passionate about that? Why is this such a passion of yours?
I think that's a really good question. I've never been homeless. I've been from pillar to post, and I've had millions of dollars in the bank, and I've had it to where I was literally bathing in my swimming pool
Wow.
in the wintertime. But I think the thing that fuels the fire within me is not, us as adults, we make our own conscious decisions, and we have to, walk through
Live with
the
those.
process from those decisions that we made.
Yeah.
The unfortunate part is the children that are in those households that have to suffer because of the decisions that the parents made. That's what fuels me.
Absolutely.
If we can build communities and put together communities where the children see grown-ups thriving and going to work and doing life in a different way, imagine the impact we'll have on a kid that comes behind that and gets to be proud of where they came from and say,
Yeah.
because of what the work we did, they're out of it. And see, the work that you're doing in the after-school programs in these underserved communities is a direct correlation to that, because you're going to touch that one kid. You may touch the next president, and that's what it's
Definitely
about.
receive that. Wow, man, that's powerful. So you're literally seeing it as breaking generational curses.
Absolutely.
Wow. Well, certainly
And then-
appreciate it.
And then establishing generational wealth on the other side of that, because
Yeah.
we don't just want to get by and have people that are healthy mentally without being healthily financially or economically, right?
Right.
So the work that we also do
It's the whole
empowers
person
people
concept.
to literally go out and change the trajectory of a whole family lineage.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And I want to shout out my pops, man, because that's what he did. And I commend you, because I could tell by your example with AJ that that's what you did for your family. Man, my dad, he's been over. He just celebrated this year, the beginning of the year, 3 decades of being clean and sober from drugs and alcohol.
Wow.
And his decision, that decision alone, is what changed the trajectory of my entire family's, and I say immediate family, but also, man, even my
Generations to
relatives
come.
who his family from up in Philadelphia. I saw them watching our example growing up, and we only got to see him like once or twice each year growing up because he worked for American Airlines. We got to go visit them, and that's how I grew so close to that side of the family, and my grandparents and everything, all of my cousins. But we had a lot of family who was lost, a lot of family who did not go to church, let alone they were using drugs and alcohol and in the streets. And him making that decision when it wasn't common for how he grew up in, the environment he grew up in, and they were all partying a lot every weekend, or they go over family's house, and the thing was to get drunk. Like that was how they fellowship. And he got away from that, but then changed his life, and then they saw him building a family that he stayed around for and raised, and he stayed married. Him and my mom's still married to this day. And I see them struggling through marriage, so it let me know marriage is definitely difficult. It's definitely not easy, and they ready to divorce like every 3-4 years, so it's nothing perfect about it. But I've seen a successful black marriage because of him and his decision to be clean and sober, because he committed to that, and that allowed him to commit to our family, man, because he definitely would not have stayed around had he not made that decision to not be like what his dad was. His dad did not stay around for him. And so I see my role is as a mentor, and I see you doing this. We're supposed to tell them it's possible to break those generational curses.
Right.
Because we are that example. I am the product of what happens if, even though you didn't grow up with your dad in the picture, you stay in the picture,
Right.
and you commit to your family and put the other addictions to the side and put your family first. So I want to thank you for following that lane. I just want to share that about my pops, because that's what you immediately made me think of. Like, I'm sitting here because of the generational curse that he broke. And it's not just me now. Our entire family is on that side. More than half of them have followed his example and gotten away from drugs and alcohol, and are there in their families and are coming to family reunions now and putting family over their addictions now because of example, and in the church now. So it's beautiful.
It is a beautiful thing, and I'll tell you that the most powerful thing we have in our life, any of us, is the power to make a decision.
Woo, man,
And
that's quotable. I'm quoting you on that one, brother.
you gonna steal that one?
oh yeah, put that in my notes, man. That's
But
powerful.
man, the day we decide
Sweat.
to do anything, there's nothing that's gonna stop us.
Yeah,
And I'll tell you, we won't all have perfect lives, or the kids won't all have perfect
Nah,
lives just
we're not
because the
supposed to.
dad decides to turn his life around, or the old man that's 50 years old today decides to
true.
go do right. That doesn't mean that he doesn't have 30 years of shrapnel behind him.
Yeah,
Right.
it's
But
real.
But
Sure ain't
this
easy.
older man told me a long time ago, suck it up, and whatever you felt like you didn't have and that you needed, then you need to go become that for somebody else.
Woo.
And
Man,
that's the decision.
I live by that, brother. Absolutely. You gotta be the person that you needed when you were that age.
That's right, because somebody
You
else
wish
needs
you
it
would have.
too.
Absolutely, because a lot of us go out and become successful, and we get that next promotion, or we get that next million, and we're constantly focused on that next, but we forget to reach back and do for those who were in our shoes, who are looking up to us currently,
Right.
and like, man, what did you do? How do I get there? Because we're so greedy that we think it's all about whether or not we're where we want to be before we take time to reach back and mentor and coach the next generation, man. So I definitely hats off to you for being that person that does that. But why is that so important for you to do that?
Well, I read this quote by Zig Ziglar, and I'm gonna mess
That's
the quote up.
powerful, brother.
But the thing he said is so easy for you. Imagine how easy it would be for you to get everything you want if you help everybody around you get the things that they want.
Ooh.
And I live by that, because if everybody around me is happy, then
And
I
succeed.
just told you that my fulfillment comes from seeing everybody else be happy.
Man,
So-
and it makes sense. You built up everybody around you, so when you need something, it's, hey,
Everybody gonna pull the train. That's right.
man, that's powerful, man. Yeah. Quote. I'm quoting Zig Ziglar. That's two greats right there, two legends right there, man.
Imagine
Man.
that. And I didn't pick up a book and read it from cover to cover till I was over 40 years old. It's nuts.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. And I grew up with libraries and books all around me. And, I used to go get the cheap books, the teacher's editions, and do my homework as a kid.
Man.
I ain't had time for that.
Man, but the most powerful people in the world love reading, man, and that's Oprah was saying that every extremely successful person she knows has a genuine love and passion for reading, man. And I know Mark Cuban, Warren Buffett, Steve Jobs when he was alive, Bill Gates, they all read like literally anywhere from 4 to 6 hours a day. So it's insane. But you make me think about it. I'm a pick up a book and turn to a random chapter type reader myself. So I don't know if I've read a book cover to cover. I got to really think on that now, man. Now I might feel bad. I need to step that up. But man, till 40 years old, man.
Yeah, and then I love reading so much now. About 2 years ago, I went and took a photo reading course. So now I can literally read a 200-page book in about 15 minutes. The power
great.
of the mind, it's all in the mind. The mind
Yeah.
has the ability to take pictures of anything that we put in front of it, and it takes thousands of pictures every second. So
Wow.
if you just turn the page and flip that book in a certain state of mind, your brain will take a picture and you'll remember everything you need when you need it. And so
Wow.
it's just
So
mind's a
what
powerful
changed for
thing.
you? How'd you develop that at 40? Like that's when they say, the older we get, the less our mind is able to learn new things like that. But how'd you develop that ability, that skill set at 40, or that love for reading at 40? A lot of people think it's too late at that point.
A lot of people do, and that goes back to that decision. I decided what was important to me.
Yeah.
And the things that I have that were important to me required me to become a different person in order to be able to get it.
That's powerful. Yeah, because I love reading about
Right.
great people. So if I'm genuinely interested in what I'm reading, you can't tell me to put the book down.
Right.
And so I could see if that's what you're saying, if that was important to you, it made all the difference. That's why you want to read. So what advice would you offer to someone who wants to learn to have a true love for and passion for reading?
It starts with picking up a book.
First and foremost, people.
Nobody loves to go to the gym, but I tell you, after the first
Yeah.
day, the second day feels better.
Got
the
that
third
right.
day feels better. It's no different with a book. So the first time you might have to push yourself through 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then push yourself through 15 minutes. And before you know it, you're an hour and a half in and you've almost finished the book and you can't believe it. So
And would you attribute that to being integral to your success?
I will contribute that to, in some regard, to being a part of my success, not because of what I've read, even though that is important, but again, it goes back to the decision to sit down and be disciplined and disciplined enough and buckle down to do the work to read.
Yeah. Got you. That definitely makes sense, man. And I don't want you to leave this interview without letting me know what all you are working on, man. What all you have coming up, because I see you constantly putting out great content. You constantly talk about real estate and the life of a dreamer, man. Another day in the life of a dreamer. And I'm with you on that. And I was curious as to how'd you even come up with that concept, a day in the life of a dreamer, another day in the life of a dreamer. Where'd that come from?
Well, very interesting. I'm probably one of the most optimistic people you'll meet. A lot of people think that I wear rose-colored glasses, and because I always see the good in things.
They kind of do look like that, though. They kind of
do look like that.
The cool color shade.
But even guys like me that are upbeat and encouraging for everybody have moments and days where it's hard for us to get out of bed, and we need to be encouraged also.
Absolutely.
So a couple of years ago when I started doing this, it was literally just like, okay, here we go, another day in the life of a dreamer. It doesn't look so beautiful today, does it?
Just like that.
Yeah, it's like, I know I'm literally sitting here crying because I don't know what to do, and so if you think
Wait,
it's
so
all,
the point of
butterflies and roses is not.
wait, I thought another day in the life of a dream was always about the positive dreaming. So you're saying you show the reality of every day in the life of a dreamer ain't peachy and peaches and cream, ain't rose colored.
That's right. No,
Wow.
This is real life. And then I started.
But it doesn't mean you stop dreaming.
It
Right.
does not mean I stopped dreaming. But then it put me around other people like today when I walked in Geek Leaks, right? Geek Leaks.
Oh yeah, shout out Geek Leaks, Danny Martin.
Shout out to Geek Leaks, Danny Martin. I come in here and the first thing I see is a business and a building in excellence.
Yeah.
Everything here is clean. It's excellent.
Absolutely.
I mean, down to where the wires are run, everything. I mean, this place is beautiful.
Yeah, miles of wires.
Miles and miles and miles of wire, and you don't see any. And everything is, literally excellence.
Absolutely.
And then,
Black excellence at that.
yes, black excellence. But for me, I wasn't asking the kind of questions like, oh man, this is a nice business. What kind of business is this? I want to know how a man thinks. So the first question I asked him was, what thought brought this on?
Yeah.
So it's about the thinking for me. So my pastor says this all the time. Your think equals your be, and your be equals your do. So whatever you think about, you'll be about. Whatever you be about, you'll do.
Ooh, come on, man! You dropping all these jewels on. I don't know. I don't know if we have the bandwidth to carry all these jewels he's dropping. I don't know if y'all can hold. I don't know if you got the capacity at home to catch all these. You might need a bigger basket. These jewels, man, hold up. Think, be, do.
Yes, as you think,
If you
that's
think,
what you will be, and what you become is what you're going to inevitably do. So
True.
think, be, do. If you're thinking about reading
True.
books, you're going to pick up a book and read it, and then because you're reading that book, you're going to become a doctor. If you're thinking about going to the club, you're probably thinking about drinking, so you're going to go get your beer, and you're going to wind up at the club. Think, be, do.
Facts.
Whatever you think about.
think, be, do.
And so I've always had these lofty, lofty dreams, and I still have one today that has not been fulfilled. And I'll tell it. And I'm in a high-rise building, probably 50, 60 floors up. I can tell I was an old man because I had on suspenders, and I don't wear suspenders, right? So, but I was looking out the window. I was talking on the phone, and I looked around, and I said, wow. Look at everything that God has given me the ability to have charge over.
Yeah,
right?
man.
And I was thanking him for that. So every office that I walk in today, and I've had 15 offices since then, the first thing I do is go to the window and say, nope, this isn't that look. This isn't the view. So
Yeah,
that I know
like
that there's something else
time.
out there, right?
Wow. And so you said lofty dreams, like 100,000 apartments wasn't lofty. Or you say 100,000 complexes. We're not even talking just one unit.
Well, we're talking 100,000 units. 100,000 units.
100,000
So
units.
that could be 500 complexes.
Okay. So 100,000 units if that wasn't big enough, this high rise.
Somebody else has it, so why can't we have it?
Yeah, you're right, man. You're right. And we limit ourselves oftentimes just because we think, or we may not know somebody who has it personally. But I know you now, so that means I'm coming behind you then. Just go ahead and give me one of whatever you order, Brother Alvin.
Gotcha.
Good.
But I walk in, like I said today, walking Geek Leaks, and Danny saw an opportunity
Absolutely.
to create a platform for other people to do what they want to do.
Yes.
And because he is making other people's dreams come true, guess what? His is automatically being fulfilled as well.
Keep growing. Absolutely.
And that's the fuel in the fire.
Like he's doing, helping me with MentorConnector podcast. Absolutely.
Right.
We help each other. You keep adding value like we're doing this conversation. We help each other's platform. And that's what it's always supposed to be, that mutual benefit. And as you help others grow, of course you're going to grow. Of course your brand is going to expand.
Right.
So it just makes sense. And that's why he's getting to other locations, like the Fort Worth location that just opened up with 25,000 square feet, and the Arlington location that's coming. And he definitely sees a vision for this being national as well, like yourself. So I think something people want to know is, are you local with your real estate, or are you national? Because it seems like you're everywhere.
Right now, our concentration has been Texas and Louisiana. That's where we actually own properties. Today, we're looking at properties in Richmond, Virginia, Atlanta, Georgia. So almost like the smiley face of the United States, we want to be on the
like that.
We want to be on the
Good
eastern
South.
side of the smiley face. So from Texas, Florida, up to the Carolinas, through Georgia, Tennessee, some Illinois.
And so you're aiming for property, and you already have some in Texas and Louisiana.
That's correct.
But you can help people all over, because your following is not just Texas and Louisiana. I see. So you're helping
correct.
people from whatever state, or I guess whatever part of the globe, really.
Well, I know the United States, our processes work anywhere in the United States. Outside of here, land laws change, and ownership rights are different than we have here in the States. So I don't know what that looks like. But if you're not in the States and you're talking about buying stuff in the States, yeah, it works.
Can help you with that.
Yeah.
And so is that part of what you are speaking on or teaching on in your webinar series in your boot camp? Because tell us about this multifamily monopoly boot camp.
Great. So what we've done is I had a desire to learn this a long time ago, and I didn't have any mentors. And I finally met one guy that mentored me in a way I didn't know that I wanted to be mentored. I didn't know I needed that, right?
Some of the best mentors right there.
So he opened the door to something totally different for me and told me that the little vision I had was great, but if I really wanted to see how the big boys do it, then come follow him. And I did. And I went and served this guy for a year and a half, or 13 months to be exact. And he had 16,000 apartments. They were in 9 different states. It was $1 billion foundation 10 years ago. And he gave me the opportunity to see it from his level, but also from the maintenance man or the porter perspective. So I got to see this whole business operate.
Ground up, literally.
From the ground up and the top down.
Wow.
And that is why I'm able to do what I do today. But because he did that for me, then I wanted to do it, or I want and have the desire, and we're doing it for others.
Absolutely.
So we started a couple of companies. One of them is called Autonomous Wealth. And the thought behind that is, you can put your wealth on autopilot and it'll continue to serve you.
It's called what?
Autonomous Wealth. Like the autonomous driving vehicle that drives itself. Oh. We believe your income can do the same thing if you have it in the right vehicle.
Wow. I have not heard man, come on with the jewels, man. Man, autonomous wealth.
And then we started the multifamily monopoly, literally behind, everybody knows about a game that's called Monopoly, and it's talked about, it's about how you own real estate. And because we focus on multifamily, that is the education platform for us teaching and mentoring and doing boot camps and direct coaching for people that have an interest in multifamily assets.
And how long does that last?
Well, we've got several programs. We've got a 6-week virtual boot camp.
Okay.
That boot camp starts about every other week. We've got one starting on the 21st of April.
21st. That's
next Tuesday.
That's today. That's today.
Yeah, that's today. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the calendar. That's today.
Man.
Yeah, Tuesday the 21st today.
So your first 6-week boot camp starts today. So people can sign up right now, or is it too late?
No, you can sign up until about 6:30 p.m. Central.
Okay.
So it's not too late.
So they got a little bit of time.
This is our second one. We did one back in November. It was a huge success.
Okay, I saw it. Wait, that wasn't 6. I saw the webinar, but you're not talking about the 6-week boot camp?
No, we did a 6-week boot camp prior to the webinar.
Oh, so you had one already?
We had one. We were sitting in the airport in October, me and Kavon, and I said, I think I want to do a boot camp, and I just want to teach somebody how to do this. She said, well, do it. So I did a post on
And then you
Instagram.
made a decision.
I made a decision. And within 5 minutes, literally within 30 minutes, I had 150 people apply to be in this thing. I was like, hold on, we got something going here.
That's insane.
So we did it. We chose 20 people to walk through this first one with us. It gave me an opportunity to get beyond my fears.
As a pilot.
Being in front of the camera all the time and in front of the microphone. And then it gave us the ability to craft our content around what the student actually wanted.
Right.
And so since November, we have spent, I can't tell you how many thousand hours putting all of the content together to roll out our second boot camp that starts tonight. Yeah.
Wow, man.
So it's great.
Props
and then we've got
to you, man.
direct coaching opportunities that last from 6 months to 12 months, all different entry level points for that. And then we're giving away some classes so that, everybody doesn't have a lot of resources to get into this. But the information is still the same. They say methods are many, principles are few. Methods always change, but principles never do. So the principles we're teaching.
Man, I need to read more of what you're reading, man, because these quotes, man, I can't get enough of them, man. I need you to just give me a quote book or something, man. Because I need to.
It's only because I'm in a room with smart people. That's all.
Hey, man, we're honored to be in your presence, brother. And these boot camps sound like it's a lifesaver, man. Even if I don't have the monetary resources that it would take to get to where I want to go, this boot camp is valuable so that I can learn how to get to there, or
Absolutely.
where to look, at least to get
Well,
to. 'Cause I want to be like you in
Well,
real estate,
our
man.
portfolio is worth in the high 9 figures today.
Goodness gracious.
And we started that with zero money, zero credit, and zero experience about 6 years
High
ago.
9 figures. That's not 6 figures is millions. So you talking like 100+ million?
Yeah.
Goodness, good Lord. So won't he do it? The Lord will do it.
Won't he? Won't he do
Ooh,
it?
shoot. That's you blowing my mind. You making my throat collapse. And I ain't trying. I don't want to look like I got corona on camera. It ain't got nothing to do with no COVID. But man, so 9 figures is where you're at now. You started with $0.
Yeah. $0, zero credit, zero experience. Keep in mind, I said
That's
methods are
powerful.
many, principles are
$0.
few. Methods always change, but principles never do.
Yeah, we going. That's gonna be part of the part of the scripture.
There's 5 different roads that I can take to get to your house.
$0, zero credit,
$0. Yeah.
and zero what?
Experience. No mentors.
No
nothing.
experience. So you didn't have mentorship in this, but yet you're offering it.
I figured it out, and I'm not
Wow.
there yet. I don't have 100,000 doors yet.
And we never will be we're on the other side of that tombstone.
That's right.
Man,
But we have put together we've learned how to do this with relationships, and that's life is all about relationships.
that's
so.
exactly. And relationships, like I saw actually DJ Bebe post, relationships are more valuable than money. It's one of the main lessons he learned, reflecting back on his life. And I value our relationship, brother, just like I value my relationship with your son and everyone around you, man. I appreciate how you've embraced our family, my wife and daughter, and made us feel like we already were family, man.
You are.
So
You are.
It's a beautiful beautiful relationship.
AJ's the only son I've had, but he gave me the ability to have about 6 or 7 Omega sons, right?
The root to the good blood, the best sons you could possibly have, man.
That's right. That's what they say.
And last question is, if I miss signing up today for this 6 weeks boot camp, when's the next time I could hop on a 6-week boot camp registration?
Well, let me tell you, there are 2 ways you can do this. We've got a link. It's go.multifamilymonopoly.com.
Okay, say that one more time.
Go.multifamilymonopoly.com.
Okay, go. And that's on your Instagram page too, right?
It is.
In the bio, I thought I saw.
It is. So if you go to that link, there's a free webinar there. It's about 35 minutes. It'll give you an introduction to multifamily real estate and to what we do. And then beyond that, if you want to sign up for the boot camp, we've got several different opportunities there to sign up for that or direct coaching. We've got a course starting today, and then every other week after today, we starting that 6-week boot camp.
So it's like every 2 weeks. So
every 2 weeks.
If somebody doesn't see this live stream today, then they could catch the next one in 2 weeks and sign up.
That's correct. That's correct.
Beautiful, because it's definitely needed, my brother. Most definitely needed. And
let me
appreciate
also
you
say
for
we've got
offering
some
this,
scholarship opportunities for that as well. So it is about the money, but it's not always all about the money. So we've got scholarship opportunities where we're giving some of these courses away with each class we do. And the way that someone can apply for that is info@alvinhopejohnson.com.
Okay, say that one more time, because I know I need that scholarship too. So
that's info@alvinhopejohnson.com.
I got somebody taking that down. info@alvinhopejohnson.com. Yeah. All right. We good, because I need that scholarship.
You already plugged in. Well, your wife was anyway. I didn't know about you.
Oh yeah, true. Oh yeah. That's right.
That's right. Yeah.
We gotta go. I'm good then. I'm getting on her ticket.
Yeah, you can get in on her ticket.
So we are equally yoked.
That's right.
Man, certainly appreciate that, brother. And you're offering the scholarship opportunity because people need this, man. And thank you for sharing the information that clearly, from hearing your story, it didn't just come to you overnight and it wasn't handed to you. You had to go through some things to earn that and to re-earn that after losing it over and over again. So I feel like this is the prime opportunity for so many people to be able to take what took you a lifetime to learn, but you've clearly mastered it, and you clearly are mastering it because, of course, you continue to grow, but you're at a level that, I mean, so many people can't even fathom being where you already are, brother. So thank you for being considerate enough to pause where you are in your growth. And I'm sure you're still out here, doing more and more business, but you're taking time to reach back and give back by offering something as valuable as this kind of boot camp, so others can figure out how to even get to where you are to begin with, man. So thank you for all you're offering out here, Alvin, and thank you again for coming on the show today, man. This has definitely been a Geek Leagues Esports Masterclass, because this is truly learning from a master, ladies and gentlemen, and you may not have known about before today, but I guarantee you, once you follow this brother, you're not gonna forget about him, and you're gonna keep seeing his growth and prosperity, and you need to learn how to do what he's doing and hop on the bandwagon before he's making too many billions, and y'all ain't. He can't make time to make any more of these boot camps. All right, so get on it. How can the people follow you and keep up with you on social media, email, whatever, wherever you're at? Let us know how to stay in touch with Alvin Hope Johnson.
That's it. Alvin Hope Johnson on IG, Facebook, Alvin Hope Johnson, Twitter, Alvin918, email info@alvinhopejohnson.com, bootcamp, go.multifamilymonopoly.com. And I just want to say one thing in closing, David. I really appreciate the platform that you and Danny are doing with your mentorship and pouring back into the students. It's an amazing opportunity that you've given me to be here. But I just want to say that,
thank you.
The gaming industry is so huge right now, and somebody right now is looking at trying to reinvent themselves through this pandemic. And it's never too late to make a decision, and that's what it's all about. So whether you're deciding to go be a truck driver, or deciding to be an athlete, or deciding to be a gamer, or deciding to be a doctor or a real estate guy, it's never, ever, ever, never too late. So
it's not too late.
Just got to make a decision and keep your head up and push and keep going.
Well, it starts with that decision.
That's it.
Most powerful weapon. And it coming from a brother who started his love of reading at age 40 and is as successful as he is now and isn't stopping. And you're never too old either, right? Because you clearly got a vision for doing much more than what you've already accomplished at age 55, right?
Oh, absolutely. I'm just getting started. See,
man, thank you, man, because you giving me hope for my future, man. And when my grades come in, I'm already boss. So when my grades come in, I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna be all right.
Sound good.
Following your footsteps, bro. Well, thank you again, brother Alvin Hope Johnson, for coming on the show today, man. And this MentorConnector podcast was very special, and I'm truly grateful for you giving us some of your time to break down your story of your life, man, and give us. You really inspired us to go forward and hopefully plug into what all you're doing, so we can just, kind of grow a little bit and rise as you coming up in this world, man. Just a little bit, get a little bit of the cream that you got coming off, man. So thank you again for coming, brother. Again, ladies and gentlemen, it's been another Geek Leagues.
Coming to you live